All right, so very good evening, the wonderful audiences who have joined on time. That shows the eagerness and excitement they all have towards this a wonderful session, I would say. Welcome to yet another, I would say, an exciting session, or I would call it as an interaction on the theme that is very, very close to our heart. And here we have somebody who has not just theoretically, but then practically experienced the social entrepreneurship part of it. So I'm so very happy to host two of my good friends from Hungary. I have Ms. Dolores Csabai, co-founder of Litvill Ecovillage from Hungary, and a good friend of mine, Dr. Imran Rautan, a founder and managing director of Litvill Lessons Association and co-founder of Litvill Ecovillage as well. I always say this: entrepreneurship also at times is a beautiful combination of uh, making money, economy, as well as giving back to the society. It's a beautiful combination. And that's where the concept of social entrepreneurship came into the picture. Well, we have a very, I would say, a flagship program called IRE, which stands for Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship. I always say this, as a B-school, it's your moral responsibility to nurture tomorrow's business leaders, and that's what we've been doing successful enough from last 11 years now. That's been a great journey, and people come to us because of our flagship IRE programs. I'm so happy to see this trend that today's generation, are more inclined towards starting something of their own. That's a very traditional trend. Otherwise, if you go back, you had people having the mindset, okay, let me complete my master's and I'll get into a corporate job. I'm happy with some 5 digits or 6 digit salary. Yeah, today I'm very happy to see that the mindset getting changed. So IRE is I would say a program that has come at the very right time. And through IRE online, I have been able to tap a lot of budding entrepreneurs, a lot of successful entrepreneurs like you across the globe. Every year we invite somebody from different parts of the world where they come and share the experiences with us. That's a fantastic platform. We do conduct a lot of online programs. We do conduct a lot of physical programs, and I do host a lot of podcasts where we have interviewed a lot many guests like you and who have shared their incredible journey. For those who are joined, away from GIBS or not a part of the GIBS, we are an institution serving from last 11 years. We have two programs: BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, and the postgraduate diploma in Business Management. We have over 800 students with us from top north to down south. The beautiful, diverse crowd. And we are in an expansion mode. We'll be launching many new programs in the coming years. But then IRE stands to be the flagship program, which we will always run it and it's going to scale up every year, no doubt about it. And all thanks to people like you who always accepted our invitation. And today here you are. On behalf of all my audiences, my management team from GIBS, I extend my heartfelt welcome to both of you. And we have coined this very beautifully as social entrepreneurship, an Indian slum boy and European lady shared a vision for a social change. I am all excited to read the story. In fact, Dr. Imran has already shared that story with me, but then I want my audiences to listen from the horse's mouth. These two have contributed immensely to this. I'm sure at the end of the day, there's a lot of takeaways from both the interactions. So without taking much more time, Dr. Imran, Ms. Dolores, all yours.
Yeah. Okay, so I can share the slides now.
Yes, absolutely, you can. Yep.
Okay, let's see. Okay, am I sharing because I can't see?
Yes. Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
It's great.
So thank you very much, Professor Guru, for a very, very warm welcome. And thank you for having us today. So before we start, I would like to really highlight that we are not here as professors or experts to teach you something. We are just someone, and I am just someone who wanted to learn English in a slum. And slowly I discovered that even small actions can grow into something very, very important. And today we want to share a bit of our journey and we are hopeful that it would spark something in you.
No doubt.
Thank you very much. I am really happy to be here with you today, even if it's through the screen. I am planning to travel to India very soon, so maybe we can meet in person as well.
Lovely.
So I am right now on the other side of the globe in Europe. My name is Dolores, and I am an instructional designer by profession. Many people don't know what is that, so I briefly explain because it belongs to the story we have for you. With simple words, an instructional designer is someone who turns confusing content into learning that actually makes sense without causing brain damage. So back to our content. This won't be a formal lecture, but rather a conversation about something we both deeply care about with Imran, how young people like you can create real change in the world. We will talk about social entrepreneurship, but not in the usual business school way. We want to break it down into something more personal, practical, and possibly, especially possible, something you can do, especially for you. So by the end of this short session, you will hopefully leave with three things: a clear idea about what social entrepreneurship is, and real stories of how it starts with simple actions, and why you should also become a social entrepreneur, and maybe, just maybe, the courage to take your first step too. So now I will ask everyone to think for a moment. Have you ever done something small that helped somebody else and realized it mattered more than you thought? This is what happened to us, a young Indian boy and a lady in Europe. So let's see. When we think about social entrepreneurship, we often imagine someone starting a company or running a project to solve a big social problem. But actually, it can start much smaller. It can start with a single question: what can I do with what I have?
Yes, and for me, as the title goes, that Indian slum boy, so I am that Indian slum boy. And for me, I had a very little resources because, as I said, I grew up in an Indian slum, and most kids in my society didn't go to school. They straight went to work. There was little for them in the schools. They didn't really have the opportunity. But I was very lucky to have the opportunities to study. And even though I had to do this stone polishing with my very fragile hands at the age of 8, but I could manage to go to school. I didn't have the money for courses, but I wanted to improve my life. I was working at a small hotel, and it's interesting that I noticed that all the hotel guests were speaking English. And me, as a very young boy, I I thought that if I speak English, I could look rich. I won't be looking like a slum boy if I speak English. So that was the motivation to learn. But when you learn English, when you want to learn English, what would you do? You would probably buy a course or hire a teacher or probably watch Netflix. I had none. So what I did, I collected all the newspapers from the checked out rooms. I would say crumpled newspapers from the hotel guests, and I took them home and I read them word for word. And I turned all my hotel guests into my English teachers. If you hire, you would only have one teacher. I had hundreds of teachers every single day across the globe. This is how I started to learn, and this is how I attempted to learn English. And 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 I didn't know that asking foreign guests would improve my English or not. I just didn't know it. I was just trying to learn. And that's how I tried to learn my English.
So when we met 10 years ago, I was a guest in a small hotel in Jaipur. I arrived from Delhi to Jaipur, and Imran spoke broken English at the reception, and I asked where he learned English because I had issue with communication in India in general. It was my third day in India, and I hired an English speaker driver who repeated only two phrases for me, and it was totally frustrating. The two phrases were no problem and give me money. So I was very tired. Imran's broken English made me really happy that at least at last someone I can talk to. So I asked how did you learn English? And he said, I learned English from newspaper. I got shocked, taken aback. What a genuine way to learn a language. I realized that this boy needs help to improve his English because he deeply believed that learning could change his future. This was the most important thing what I realized. He didn't have money to buy a book. He didn't have money to pay for a language course, but he wanted to do something with his life. He didn't sit idle. He just did whatever was able to do. I was really touched by his creativity to make it happen with what little he had. So I offered my help to improve his English. You
You
are
are
muted,
muted. Mute.
doctor.
And,
Yeah.
and interestingly, when I asked Dolores to help me, I didn't know she was an expert in English. The only criteria I had to find an English teacher that you have to have a white face, that means you can speak really good English. This was the only criteria because I just needed help. So she guided me online just little by little every single day. And surprisingly, within 6 months, I was speaking English with a with huge amounts of confidence and thinking about how to go further. And I wanted to it might surprise you that while learning English, I wasn't making enough money, even though I was learning. So I thought that I need to do something else, and becoming a car mechanic was one of the options. It's not because I loved cars, it's because it was free. This was the only course I had access to do. So when I shared this dream of mine becoming a car mechanic with Dolores, she got really upset, and she said I could be able to do much more than fixing cars. But I said it might be true, but I really have to support my family. I'm not making enough money. If I don't make more money, we would literally starve. And she said, how about you going to a university and doing a bachelor's degree? And I said, well, this has been one of my dreams, but I almost gave up on it because I keep thinking probably I would never be able to go to the university and I would die with this regret. So Dolores said, seeing your potential, I would like to offer financial support and fund your bachelor's degree. And I must admit that. And but but having 5 members, you are financially supporting them, and becoming a full-time university student was a very risky thing, because either you can be a full-time student or you can work 12 hours a day in a hotel where you are doing pretty much everything, cleaning the room, carrying the luggages, and pretty much everything else. But after weeks of discussion with Dolores, we both agreed, okay, I have to suffer for 3 years. I have to be full-time worker. I have to be a full-time student, and we have no other ways. It's true that I was really exhausted because I got back home around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I woke up at 6 a.m. and rushing to the university. But there was some kind of happiness, there was some kind of energy in me, that I was sleeping for 4 hours, but I was feeling that I'm very energetic and I'm quite purpose driven. I have a purpose to do that. And luckily I did quite well. And I finished my bachelor's degree as one of the best students. And while doing this, I also explored other opportunities to move out of India. And I found financial support to do my MBA, and later I got the scholarship to do a PhD at one of the most prestigious university in Southeast Asia, called Sunway University. And now I carry this fancy title where everybody says Dr. Imran. It's very funny, right? And and I
So
think
this is
it would be very interesting to show that how did we learn English. As you can see on the slides, this is one of the fraction, I'd say, the slide from how did I learn English? And I had very little grammar. I didn't have good vocabulary, but I had one thing. I wasn't afraid to ask. I would say something often very, very wrong. And Dolores would correct me immediately, as you can see on the slide. But I was learning more than English back then, by the way. I just wanted to speak English and wear sunglasses, buy long coats. But but having a mentor like Dolores made me learn about the environment and how my own life was connected to the environment. I used to think environment means trees, greeneries, probably animals. But later I realized your house, your hospitals, your school, your neighborhoods, that all belongs to the environment.
True.
And I am someone who used to say that I have nothing to do with the environment. So literally, I went from ignoring the environment to now spending years and hours to study about the environment and the solutions. How can we live with more harmony? So yes, now I believe that the environment and I are now deeply connected.
Yeah, in fact, it comes from the fact that I am an environmentalist and I care about our future. I care about the public crisis. I care about climate change. All these things hit me hard. So that's why I wanted to pass it to other people that, yes, we have to care about our environment. But what was more amazing for me in this chat, you can see that I am scolding Imran, telling that you live in an environment, your environment is your house, filthy streets, stinky hospitals, dangerous schools. I was really angry with him. But he sent me this smile emoji and I was taken aback. What happened? Why is he so happy? And he says, tell me more. I want more words. This is the mindset of a true learner. The fun fact that this guy now cares very much about the environment. And here is the best part. The guy who once said we've got nothing to do with the environment now holds a PhD in ecovillages. Social entrepreneurship often starts just like this, not with a plan, not with a project, but with a conversation, a question, and a willingness to see the world differently.
Very true.
So, what is social entrepreneurship? It's like starting a business, but instead of selling shampoo or soap or towel, whatever, you are solving problems. It's about helping others by doing something meaningful, even when the odds are against you. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be perfect. It's not about money anyway. It's just about willingness. You just have to care. You have to be curious and take actions, especially when nobody else believes in you yet.
And I'd like to add the point that one thing I have learned is it might sound very simple, but if you do something, something will happen. Something will come out of it. Maybe not the outcome you are expecting, but something will move. Something will happen. And probably it would be beyond your imagination and way better than you are expecting. So the world is far from being perfect. Just look around. We have so many challenges. We need to fix so many things. And believe me, you can start doing a lot without money. And people often think, I don't have the right skills. I don't have the resources. I don't know how to make a business plan. And I don't have mentors. All these kinds of excuses. And when I look back, I didn't have the money, but I could find the resources to do what I wanted to do. The reason I'm giving this example is because most changes don't really happen or start because of money. It starts all with observation. It starts all with the curiosity in you. It starts with noticing the things around you and asking the right questions. Can this be better than what it is now? As I said, I didn't have the resources, but I had the eyes to look at the rich guests in the hotel that they are speaking English and they look very, very rich. I had the ears to listen to their English, right? I had the questions to ask them, taking from the newspapers and asking, how do I pronounce this word? How do I speak? How can I be more fluent when I talk in English? All these kind of questions, observations, noticing things really, really help me. right? So something shifted in me and even around me. So in our case, unexpectedly, a bit, I would say, we launched this, one of the most forward-thinking non-profit organizations in India, which is now a fully blown non-profit organization in India. And now it's a bit funny, probably, but when I was younger, I thought success meant buying fancy car or having sunglasses or having long coats. I believe that if I learn English, I I don't only look rich, but learning English can get me all these things. I can buy a car, I can buy sunglasses, I can buy long coats. But the more I grew, the more I realized that real happiness doesn't come from those things. It comes from doing something. But here's the point, doing something not for yourself, but doing something for others. Here's the key. And that shift in my mindset was the real turning point. I had experienced something very, very powerful, like learning a skill that changed my life. And I now know and before knew millions of kids in India who were just like me and are just like me, probably much, much smarter, much more hardworking, but but unfortunately with limited access to the right education, to the right people. So Dolores and I thought, how can we replicate our story? From slum to Sunday University doing a PhD. How can we replicate this story? Because there are millions of kids way better than I am. How can we replicate? So we looked around. And if there is a model, if there is a platform, if there is an organization, but unfortunately we did not find. And then we thought, okay, if we build something that gives others the same chance, right? But we didn't want to have a charity. We didn't want to give cash handouts, but we wanted to give skills. We wanted to have the confidence in the students, right? And the tools to build their own futures.
Okay, so I would like to tell a couple of words about what is Litvill Lessons, just to understand what we created. So it started as a social entrepreneurship. Now it's running as a company, and we are working with universities. So Litvill Lesson is an online in English and thinking skills platform. So we have the English learning part, and we have the programs where we try to shape the characters we work with. So it is especially for school-going kids in India. We use English as a bridge. But what we really teach is how to think, how to grow, how to survive, and the soft skills. Because in the era of AI, the soft skills will matter the more. This is our convincement. So that's why we are working on it. So the soft skills, on the other hand, they are often neglected in formal schools. So we want to raise thinkers with creativity, critical thinking, and good communication skills, collaboration skills. And students who are not fluent in English, they can get free language support first. And with a hybrid model, so they can learn, they can do the self-learning by themselves. Then they get tutors and they get mentors, and the mentors can be European teachers or even professors from India. So once they're ready, they join the programs where they learn about sustainability, self-sufficiency, crisis, climate change, whatever is important in our life to survive. And they also can learn how to become leaders, and they learn all in English, which is the very important thing again.
Yes, I would like to briefly say something about the title, which has the Pandora and Alex model. Probably you must be thinking, who is this Alex and who is this Pandora? So when I was a child, I really liked this name Alex, and Dolores had her own name Pandora. So as it says, from one Alex to me, we are now dealing with 100 students, 100 Alex now, and we aim to do this year 500 Alex very, very soon. So I hope it adds some clarity what the title says here. So I would like to share this, and I'm very excited about it, that my biggest inspiration comes from a very simple statement that if I could do this this far, others can do. As I said before, there are probably much smarter and more hardworking young Indians, given the chance and the platform. But but the problem is that they need a learning model that supports them, that gives them international exposure, English speaking environment, and self-learning habits, and even some financial support. And as I said, we looked around, but we could not find that platform, that kind of organization. So we had to build this platform. It wasn't our intention, but we looked around and it was really needed. So we built this. And Litvill Lessons is that model, a platform that is designed to replicate our own story, a real life story, and now is changing others' story. And I'm very, very proud to say this, that that we have the kids in India who are now talking about water scarcity. They are talking about food insecurities. And they are talking about air pollution. Probably they are the first kids in their families to talk about these things. And they are not only talking about the challenges, they are also talking about the solutions. Food insecurity at the age of 19 years old, at the age of 19, I would never think about designing a food bank within my neighborhood to solve the food problem. I would never think, but it's so inspiring. I feel so moved when I look at my students when they talk about how can we solve. They give suggestions, they give solutions, they design food banks, for example. And it all started with one notebook and one question.
Yeah, I would like to add one thing that or on our learning platform, we have thousands of lessons, partly English, partly about the programs to build the sustainability and self-sufficiency mindset.
So from one Alex and from one Alex in Pandora. So I quite strongly believe that what you do, you attract the same people. You radiate that energy and you attract the right people around you. You don't have to look for them. They will just come to you, believe me. So, and you can look at those posters, right? These are just some of the amazing people who have joined us as our guest speakers, and they are professors. For example, Professor Jenny, she's from the UK, Sally Bogal, she is from, I see probably she's from Scotland. We have CEOs, sustainability leaders across the world. And as I said, this is what happens when when your work or your mission is real, when it's grounded in purpose. You don't need to chase the people, they start coming to you seriously. And these people aren't joining us because I have this fancy title or our company name is very, very fancy, or Dolores has a white face. These aren't the reason. They are joining us because they believe in what we are doing. And why these recognized people mean a lot to us, because we are not only providing education to hundreds of children, but also building new pathways for Indian universities to engage beyond the classroom. And it's it's interesting. I feel very sad, Professor Grove, when what I'm going to say, it might be offensive, but it should not be. I speak to quite a number of professors across the globe, and some of them would say that universities are becoming museums. Realistically, if I think, okay, to an extent, it might be true, but it makes me it makes me feel very sad because they say that universities are, as they said, universities are becoming museums, preserving knowledge instead of innovating. And that always makes me feel, how can universities, because I feel very bad because I used to be a student, and universities, I think the best places, in my opinion, to improve yourself and to learn about your environment and the society and how you improve your own society and the environment. This So as I said, through this organization, we are not only helping the students, but we are also creating the paths for forward-thinking organizations which who want to improve not the students within the classroom, but beyond the classroom. So with our international team, we are at least attempting to change. As we connect students and professors with experts worldwide, we bring global insights, as you saw in the posters, into the local classrooms, right? So what does this bring? This creates an opportunity for real-world collaboration. As for the students, this might sound huge, and this is huge. You just don't learn English or sustainability. You get to speak directly with these people. You get the international exposure. You get the chance to speak to them face to face and even build connections. And you establish a very strong network even before you move out of your university. So yes, social entrepreneurship can change the world, but it also changes who shows up in your world. And we are just getting started. Um, so you have heard briefly about her story, and you can also read it online. You just need to type Imran Rautan, and you would have more stories and a thorough understanding of what we are doing. And this slide isn't just about articles or pictures, or I want to boast or I want to show off. These aren't the reasons. This is what social entrepreneurship can do to a life, right? As I said, I started as a young slum boy learning English from leftover newspapers or crumpled newspapers. Now I could make my way from Indian slum to a PhD to now a founder of a forward-thinking non-profit organization in India, inspiring hundreds of students and also collaborating with universities, trying to give them new perspectives that how can universities collaborate with non-profit organizations and contribute to the society and give their students practical field to contribute to the people beyond their classrooms. The funny thing is, I didn't plan this, right? I never thought I would have any kind of organization because all I wanted is just to buy sunglasses, car, and a fancy long coat. But it just happened without planning. Because why? Because I just took one step and then another. What changed everything wasn't, I will say, wasn't like many people say you were lucky. Many people would say that and they still say. I think it wasn't doing something for others. Even while I was struggling myself with my own assignments, with my own assignments, with my own supervisors during my PhD, because I went out of India, I found a completely new environment of learning because I had no chance to talk to the professors from different countries. So I was really struggling with my own thesis, with my own assignments. It was really hard. Concurrently, I was also doing this organization without considering that I'm already in trouble. I should not be thinking about other things. I realized that both things are equally important, despite being struggling. And that's what we want to say to you today. I think this is the key message of this talk. You don't need to be special to become social entrepreneur. You just need to start. You just help someone solve something, learn, and you would grow.
Yeah, this is the bottom line, in fact, that we are not living in a perfect world. And you don't have to become the next Imran Rautan. You just have to become the first version of yourself who takes
Absolutely.
action because we have a lot of issues in the world.
And to be absolutely honest, you be honest with yourself. If you feel something moved inside you today, don't really ignore it. That's your first calling. And social entrepreneurship didn't only change my life. I would say it made my life, and it can shape yours too. And many students, sometimes I find it really interesting that many students think social entrepreneurship is starting a company. or an NGO, something really big, something well planned and very long Excel sheet with lots of people. You need a very, very huge team. A lot of students probably think, but and they also think that I'll do something when I get my certificate, or when I become older, or when I become smarter, or when I have more money. But the fact is, social entrepreneurship doesn't wait for a perfect moment. In fact, it often begins with something that is imperfect. This is how.
Yes. So the first thing is that you have to find someone who needs your help. Or if you need help, no, with money, because everybody wants more money, but it doesn't start with money. So if somebody needs help or you need help, then just pair together. It is not always about money. As I said, we can do so much without money, believe me. It can be a student, you have a classmate, for example, who can't afford books, someone tutoring others after class. Share your skills, your surplus value that solves a real problem. Don't sit at home and wait for your luck. Go out and do something. It really starts smart. I didn't say that I want to be a social entrepreneur. I just wanted to have one kid learn English. That's it. That was the first step. And sometimes, just showing up is a radical act. In a world where people are hungry, hopeless, ignored, or feeling too hot because of the weather, showing up for someone else is already a social impact. So you don't have to call yourself a social entrepreneur, but if you are solving a problem in your school, your street, or in your family, in a way that you lift others up, that's exactly what you are.
True, very well true. And I would like to tell this to my beautiful and lovely audience that it's been, I think, a couple of weeks. I'm here in India for a couple of months, and I'm speaking to quite a number of students across the universities because I think this is the best opportunity for me. But when I speak to them, I again feel very, very sad. Their problems are completely different, and it is not to criticize any student. I was probably be the same. I was one of you and many other students. Their problems are completely different. One of which is, how do I get a job as soon as possible, even if it pays 10,000 rupees to me? There are other students who are really worried that I don't have a girlfriend. I badly need a girlfriend, or I badly need a boyfriend. But, or I still remember that message, not the message, the reply from a very young student as why you look so sad. And he would say the following, that my girlfriend didn't reply for the last 3 days. I feel very, very sad. I can understand this pain. But think about this, that energy, that attention, that restlessness can be turned into something way too powerful. You don't need a title, as I said before, funding, or a really, really well cutting edge plan to start anything. You need a skill. You need the observation. You need the curiosity. And you need, I think more importantly, you need a reason to care about others. And so, yes, students can be social entrepreneurs, not just later, but right now, with whatever you have, wherever you are. There's a beautiful
Yeah.
saying, do what you can, use what you have, and start where you are. Because the perfect moment, as my mentor, Dolores said, the perfect moment would never come. So do what you can, start where you are, and use what you have.
Just to summarize based on the slides, because this is the slides which is also one of my favorites, is that the time to start is now, not tomorrow. And we had an experiment with it, and it works. I will talk about later. So the point is, look around now and find a problem, then come up with a solution. And when there is a problem, there is a solution, not even one. Start small. Small actions will grow. And you are not only helping others, you help yourselves too. And let's see how. So when you take action to solve a problem, you grow too. This happened in my case because I taught Imran for years now, but his questions challenged me always. They made me rethink my assumptions, and I even wrote articles about it. How my did it contribute to my personal development? So sometimes he pointed out something I never considered, and I suddenly was researching a whole new area. He forced me to learn new skills because I wanted to be a good mentor. So this is not a one-way learning. We both grown because of his journey. And now I am working on project I would never have imagined. This work turned into a lifelong learning journey for both of us. So let's see what is it in for you. The point is, you think you are selfish and you think about yourself, so you just don't want to give. But it's not about giving only. For example, if you do something like this, if you join an NGO because you can do, there are thousands of NGOs out, then it can be a nice paragraph in your CV which brings you a better paying job or a job you prefer. A job offer you would never get anyway, but it's in your CV that you did this kind of job, and wow, minds are blown. So it can also bring you influential friends or worthy connections. So it can also bring you a better job, or you learn new skills. It's very important what I said, that in schools you will never learn soft skills. During this social entrepreneurship, you can learn new skills. It lifts you up from where you are. Your personal life will improve. You will find girlfriends or boyfriends more easily because you have a better communication skill. These things are not measurable with money, but elevates the quality of life. So if you, yeah, just tell me.
Yeah, this is what I was thinking, that she didn't even teach me about the English language and many other things. She also uh, guided me how to doubt. I never doubted myself with almost zero knowledge. I was so confident, almost certain. I used to say absolute statement, and I'm quite afraid to say absolute statements now. So she did teach me about how to doubt, how to ask deeper questions, and how to tell reliable information from fake ones. And I and my whole team is doing the same thing to others.
Yeah, so let's go through quickly on this slide because I love it. So what happens when you help others or join an NGO or start a social entrepreneurship? First of all, you will see the world differently and yourself also. You will notice the bigger picture because otherwise your world is very small, I can tell you. You will feel more confident, more capable, more alive. You become healthier, more beautiful. You have more energy. You start to glow. Just look at Imran, he is glowing now. So, and you look younger, you seem smarter, and you naturally attract people who are on the same path. So,
Yes. So, and now what I'm going to share, it might sound a bit strange, but this is what exactly happened to me. As I said, you don't need a business plan or a fancy title or even a LinkedIn badge that says social entrepreneur. You just need to do something useful, something very real. And now, most of you are probably already asking the right questions in your head. You're probably wondering, what do I do with my life? You are now hungry probably for the direction. And for example, when I started to teach English, I wasn't trying to be anything, or I wasn't planning to start a non-profit organization. I just wanted to help. But slowly, this help grew legs, and then it grew wings, and eventually it became my life's work now. And this is what we mean. You can become a social entrepreneur without ever calling yourself one. You act, you grow, you eventually, the world starts calling you something new, right? Sometimes your small act becomes a ripple. then a wave, and before you know it, it's your full-time job, it's your income, it's your identity, and it's your legacy, more important. So if you're still sitting there wondering whether you have what it takes to become a social entrepreneur, don't worry about the label. Just begin. Do something and watch what grows. Like we said earlier, if you do something, something will happen. Maybe even something bigger than you ever imagined.
Yeah, this is what happens in reality. So where to start? Where to start for you? During our past talks, which were offline in other universities, because we had this talk in other universities, we received wonderful examples. You can do it offline, you can organize a workshop, and the students did some brainstorming to find problems that bugged them. They brought up ideas such as solving mental health issues with counseling, waste management in the university, which was not solved properly, or access with wheelchair, which was also not solved at the university. So those small projects can be started immediately, because this was one of my conditions. What would you do right now when you leave this classroom? How would you change the world? What would it mean to your community? So if you take, for example, the mental health issue, because people complain that many university students have mental health issue, and we found psychology students who would be able to help with counseling, or even creating body groups to talk about it. And this project can grow out of the university. After graduation, these volunteers can set up a company for the same purpose. So it can be a livelihood as well. If it means that they already have the reference and they did a good job. So they are not beginners, they already have the skills. And right now on the job market, it's very much missing. Everybody is looking for someone who already have experience. So these psychology students can refer that, yes, we have, because we set up a group, we did counseling, so we have the skills already. So what is the first step? First step, look around and find a problem. Second, design a solution. You can involve your friends into the brainstorming. You are not alone. You don't have to be alone. Third, think about if the model is scalable or not. Even if not, you can start, because remember, if you start something, something will come out of it. That's possible that it's not a straight line, but a meandering, and you will find something else because you are doing something. And if you live in a perfect world and there is nothing to improve around you, then you have another option. You can join us. You can become our Litvill ambassador. You can help our kids learn English or improve their social skills. Probably it would improve your skills too.
Yes, it was very, I'd say, insightful activity we did at I think it was API University in Malaysia, and students came up with really and realistic business plan, social business plans, really good. So we would like to end this talk with one very short message. All of us who are sitting here are probably, in my opinion, are very fortunate who have access to the right platform, right education, and professors like Professor Gru. We are very fortunate. But the problem is, I think it might not be a problem, but I take it as a problem that it's not only for us, it's not a luxury, it's probably a responsibility to give forward, to pay forward, because millions of students in India, they don't have access to right education, to the platform, to different audiences, to different mentors. They just don't have the access. So, but we are fortunate. So our responsibility, I would say, their future relies on us. We can't think about ourselves that I just want to finish my master, I just want to finish my degree, get a job, get married, buy a car and house, and go to Switzerland, post it on social media, and my life ends here. That's not the purpose. Millions of people's future relies on you, believe me, because they don't have the access to the right education. They don't know how to clean the water. They don't know how to solve the food insecurity problem. Even my father, he doesn't know because he never went to the school. It's my responsibility to make his community and himself very, very resilient. So it's not about yourself now, it's about the future of millions of people. So this is our message here. We are not here to promote anything. We are not here to, you can join any non-profit organization. All non-profit organizations are doing a fantastic job. We are not here to promote. All we are saying is there are millions of people who are our responsibilities because we are fortunate. So with this, we would like to end our guest talk here. Thank you, Professor Gru, and a lovely audience.
You are muted,
Yeah.
Professor Guru. Yeah.
Fantastic. I would say this is a very true definition of social entrepreneurship. The journey itself speaks about it. I truly consider, right man, or I'd say right man and right woman speaking on this very particular topic. Wow. Such a pleasure listening to you. I would take up few questions on behalf of my students with your permission, both of you.
Could you, Dolores, could you please stop sharing the screen if it's
Yeah, I will
Yeah, that would be great.
finding stop. I found.
All
Okay.
right. So there's the first question, a very right question, a very important question, I would say. How important is alignment of vision when co-founders come from different backgrounds? You are the right person to answer this because you will come from a very different background. How is the alignment happening there?
Dolores, would you like to go for it?
No, you can go for it. It's stranger for you than for me.
It's all right. So the question is, how do we, let me simplify the question. The question is, how do we get along with people who have different visions, right?
No, here it was meant to the
Background.
co-founders. How important is alignment of vision when co-founders come together from a different background?
From a different background. Well, this is one of the best things that can happen to any business model.
Absolutely.
Dolores, I would say Dolores is she's completely from a different background, right? She is from more into educational writing books, publishing books, and designing the knowledge. I am from a completely different background. But as long as your vision is the same, you want to reach to the same destination, I will say it's an advantage that you bring different skills together, right? The paths can be different, but the destination is the same. How do we complement each other? Dolores is more like an introvert, right? She is less into talking, right? But she can design a beautiful curriculum. She can design the easiest way for our professors who are teaching or the students to learn. But she's really good, by the way, but she doesn't feel good to talk about it. And that's where I come in. We have the same vision, but the background is good. So I think it should not be taken as a negative point, rather it should be taken as an added advantage. I hope that.
Yeah, the point is the most important thing that our vision is totally the same, because it was my vision at the very beginning that I have to push this guy because he deserves and he has the brain to make changes in the world. And in a funny way, maybe I can tell, maybe I don't know, but I will tell when other people ask, what are you doing? I keep telling that I am raising the next Prime Minister of India. So I'm pushing him. So we have the same vision, because obviously he wants to be the next Prime Minister of India, or Alexander the Great, who knows, but he wants to be a great man. And we want to multiply this model. So the vision is totally the same. What is different? That we are totally different. We totally complement each other. What I know, he doesn't know. What he can do, I cannot do. That's why we work together so well.
Yes, and Professor Gove, please allow me to add a few more points. So when my mentor Dolores said, "What he doesn't know, I know." The good thing is that I don't have to waste my time. I don't have to waste my energy learning something I don't know, because it's time, it's money. When I know my mentor can deal with it, I can focus on something else. So that's the reason we are saying that let's not take a diverse background as a negative element, but rather as an added advantage.
Brilliantly answered. Great. Another interesting question, but I believe you addressed this while you were talking about it. In what ways does revenue generation differ in social enterprises compared to the commercial startups?
Well, the question is, how do we make money, by the way? That is the question.
Right.
How do we make money? Well, whoever asked this question, the point is, you are selling the same thing, right? And who stopped you from making money? You do the great marketing, you find your right audience, and you give the message that why do you buy? You don't really have to criticize other companies, but why not frame your message in a way so that people buy from you, not from your competitors when you are selling the same thing? So I would say, me being in this social entrepreneurship for the last 5 years and reading hundreds of research papers on this, I realized that there is a misconception about non-profit organization: poor, damaged, can't make money, always struggling for money. This is a non-profit organization can also be a premium organization. Look at Sunway University. People say it is for the rich kids, right? It probably makes more money than other universities, probably. I won't name the universities, but in my opinion, their business model is super. It's amazing, and they are still helping. There are various ways, and I don't want to talk about the ways. You can find it on your own. Use AI, and it can give you hundreds, or probably I would ever be able to give you. What I'm trying to say is change the mindset that non-profit organization means a struggling organization. That's not true. Look at Sunway University, it's thriving. It's about the mindset that you can sell your thing at a premium price. Who is stopping you? But it has to have the value. Nobody is stopping you.
As long as you're
Okay,
creating value additions, I think that speaks a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, I can add two things to this one. The first is, when you really need money, you will be surprised that the money will come to you. You don't have to ask for it. Seriously, this is what we saw. Because if you can, other people enthusiastic about your goal, they will contribute. They will give you money even if you don't ask. This is one thing. The second thing, if you want to go into details, I would recommend to check crowdfunding courses. There are a couple, and it's not, I can't talk about it within 2 minutes, but it's very useful to see and know how many legs do you need to be financially stable.
True. Very true. I will take another question. In your leadership journey, how do you identify and groom the next generation of leaders to continue your mission? It's a very interesting question.
That's very, very interesting question. First of all, I don't really think I'm a leader.
You have to be.
Yeah, I don't really think I'm a leader, or I want to become a leader. We just want to replicate the stories. And it might sound bit off the topic, but we really want to raise the leaders, not because how they can be rich, but because we have to raise our voice against the unsustainable practices of rich resource nation. So why don't we become the leaders of sustainability? Why don't we start more non-profit organizations related to environmental challenges or anything of that kind? You can still make money. And why don't you present at international platforms that what you do is creating a hell for us in developing countries? And so this is the vision we want to take forward, that it shouldn't be that if one day, if one of us die, the leadership ends. One way we are doing it, I think this is the best example how we are doing it. So when we have the students, who move from level 1 to level 2, we teach them how they can teach to their junior students. So this is how we are creating a layers of mentors. This is how they are learning how to manage students, how to do the time management, how they can collaborate doing the peer learnings. Why? Because they are responsible to teach their juniors. We give them the chances to teach their juniors. And this is how we are, through a bottom-up approach, we are preparing our leadership. We don't leave our students that you finish your course, go home and goodbye. No, you have to stay with us. You have to stay. That's the reason we came up with this ambassadorship program, that you can stay with us as long as you want, maybe for 50 years, because we have the programs like this. You become the leaders, you move up the level. I think within the organization, this is the best way, that you let the seniors to lead the juniors. It's a kind of chain.
Yeah, it's a kind of pyramid model.
Yes.
It's kind of a pyramid model. Yep. Very
Yep.
true. I'll take the last question with your permission. Once again, very closely linked to what you spoke. In your opinion, how does emotional intelligence impact the leaders in social ventures?
That's a very, I'd say, very realistic questions, because I will be actually very honest about it, because we both did suffer from this. Think about this.
True.
Me coming from a slum from India, she's coming from a European environment, completely different, right? And me having zero knowledge with absolute statements, I'd say very strong confidence that what I say is true and no one can challenge it, because I wasn't emotionally strong. If you say something, I will become angry. And we realize that we can't work this way. We have to change our way of working. We have to be open. The point is that we have to be open to come to the conclusion, not to win the argument. The moment we shift that mindset that we want to argue, argument is not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. But the argument should not be with the purpose to win. But the argument should be that how do we come to a conclusion that creates a win-win situation for both of us and for the vision. This should be, I think this is the best way that you can argue. And emotional intelligence, it only affects when you are doing the arguments, because you shout, you get angry, you start to hate the people around you. So the best way is you can do the argue, you can shout at each other, but not with the purpose to win, but to come to the conclusion for the same vision you are doing. And it happened to both of us. But then we sat down quite a lot of time. We talked through several incidents, and we decided we have to be calm. We have to be open to listen to each other's ideas, and we can even do A/B test. And more importantly, we both started to do the meditation and yoga. That helped us a lot to improve the emotional intelligence. And we are not saying that we are so very perfect with emotional intelligence. We are also trying, because we also need to improve with this one.
Wonderful. I think so very beautifully crafted. I mean, what really inspired me or impressed me both, I would say, both of you spoke from your experiences. I'm sure you had a great journey together, right? I think this 1 hour of session is not enough for that. I would really want you to come down to our campus once and have an interaction with my students, where your journey itself speaks about it. And I want the students of mine to really inculcate this concept of social entrepreneurship and start speaking more about it, which is completely different from a typical startup or a commercial startups. I always feel my managing director always talks about it. It's always how much you give back to the society. And that's the key point to what both of you have conveyed today. Thank you so much. It was wonderful listening to both of you. Such an incredible journey. I should really thank Dr. Imran. It just happened to connect with him 10 days back, and I requested, can you engage a session? He was like, absolutely fine, and I'll include my mentor as well. Let me tell you, Imran, this is the first time in the GIBS IRE Talks that we had two speakers at once, speaking from a global platform. on a very important topic. So this all happened because of you, right? So I thank Dr. Imran for his support and for his wonderful session. At the same time, heartfelt wishes, heartfelt thanks to Ms. Dolores for an amazing journey and for being such a wonderful mentor to Dr. Imran. I'm sure you would do that in the many more coming years, and we could see what he envisioned, the future Prime Minister of India. You never know, or the Alexander the Great. Let's see. The fingers.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you very
So
much.
I thank all the audiences for being there and those wonderful questions that you allowed me to post on your behalf. I extend my heartfelt thanks to both of them on behalf of the entire audience, students, and GIBS management team. Thank you so much once again. As I said, look forward to hosting you all in the campus one day. For now, this is Professor Guru Prasad signing off. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Yes.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.